A Montgomery County deputy is recovering tonight after being attacked by a jail inmate at Kettering Health Dayton. Now, that inmate allegedly took the deputy's gun and then turned it on himself. That's according to police. Gwyneth Falloon has been following this story for us, joining us now live outside of the jail. Gwen, I know you heard from police earlier, so what did they tell you?
Elise, this all started around 1 this afternoon. Police say the inmate was being treated at that hospital when he attacked the deputy that was guarding him. The county sheriff's office actually described it as a, quote, violent assault. As the two were fighting, the inmate grabbed the deputy's gun before taking off. Police say at least one shot was fired inside that hospital. Now, that's when the suspect ran into this nearby Five Oaks home. In this video sent in by a viewer, you can actually see dozens of police officers and sheriff's deputies. This is when police say another shot rang out, this time from inside that house.
They immediately forced entry, thinking that there could be some innocent citizens in harm's way. When they made entry into the house, they located the suspect with a single gunshot wound, self-inflicted.
The suspect was then taken back to the hospital where he later died. However, police say there are no other reported injuries and the deputy who was attacked is expected to be okay. Back to you.
Tonight, we now know 7 people are behind bars after a drug and human trafficking warrant was served in Harrison Township. This after anonymous tips led deputies to the area. Jenna Lee Bork spoke with a couple who live near the house where this happened.
The neighbors I spoke to today said that they've seen suspicious activity happening at this house for about 2 years. We weren't able to confirm with law enforcement how long the investigation has been going on, but this couple said they are happy that suspects were taken into custody.
I woke up to it this morning and I'm just happy I got to watch it all go down.
Thanked every bit of them. They basically, like I told them, y'all were the plumbers, you flushed the toilet.
Yeah.
4 females, 3 males arrested today at a house in Harrison Township. It all started with anonymous tips from neighbors, which then led to the Range Task Force and Miami Valley Human Trafficking Task Force getting involved and executing a warrant. Montgomery County Sheriff's Major Jeremy Roy says it was a dangerous mission.
It was a high-risk search warrant, so our SWAT team was involved due to some of the background and possibility of weapons being inside the house.
The house was boarded up this afternoon, and the investigation has been turned back over to the Range Task Force and the Miami Valley Human Trafficking Task Force. No identities of the suspects have been released, and there's no other details at this time. Back to you.
Tonight, a car flipped on its side in Miamisburg. Take a look at this incredible video. This happened at the intersection of Mallwoods Drive and Miamisburg Centerville Road. Police and fire crews responded. No word on if anyone was hurt or what actually caused the car to flip. Wayne Street in Greenville is now back open tonight after the train derailment Tuesday. The Greenville Fire Department posting on Facebook saying, quote, "Thank you for your patience and cooperation while RJ Corman completed track repairs." Now, RJ Corman is a company that owns the train. They confirmed 9 cars derailed, including 3 tankers carrying ethanol and 6 empty cars. Thankfully, though, no one was hurt and there wasn't any environmental issues as well. Well, the naked man who was shot after wielding a sword and charging at Dayton police officers pleaded guilty tonight. 34-year-old David Showalter charged with felony assault. Now, Dayton police received a report about a naked man with a sword in the front yard of a home on Suman Avenue back in May of last year. You can see on this body camera video 2 officers responded. Chief Cameron Afzal said officers followed department policy by parking down the street, but Showalter approached them quickly and raised the sword. Both officers shot Showalter multiple times in the legs. He's since recovered. A grand jury investigating the officers decided not to indict him those officers on any charges. We do expect Showalter to be sentenced February 9th. Police are also now investigating after a car crashed into a home this morning. A Montgomery County Sheriff's Office dispatcher says the crash happened on West Hillcrest Avenue. When crews got there, they saw a Kia crash into a home, which trapped the man who was sleeping on his couch inside. The man was taken to the hospital. The driver, though, got away before police got to the scene. The car was reported as stolen. They are investigating tonight. 31-year-old O'Brien Bryant back in court today after being charged with felonious assault. Bryant was arrested after allegedly shooting at Fairborn police Wednesday night when they tried to serve an arrest warrant. A judge set his bond at $1.5 million. He's back in court February 1st. A live look right now from our Eco Plumbers sky cam tonight. Still looking a little foggy, dreary out there. Let's send it over to Natalie. Natalie, what's going on?
Yeah, some fog still in the forecast for tonight. We do have a dense fog advisory for northwestern counties. So up into Mercer, Auglaize, Logan, Shelby, and Darke, Wayne County in Indiana. Under that dense fog advisory through 11 a.m. tomorrow, we could see visibilities drop from quarter mile or less as we head through the overnight hours. You can see right now it's not terribly bad. 3-mile visibility in Bellefontaine, 2 miles in Richmond. I do think the biggest concern is going to be just off to our northwest, but we can still see some patchy fog develop. 43 in Dayton, 37 right now in Wapakoneta. We'll drop into the mid-30s with a little fog around. But heading into tomorrow, we got some rain on the way and some snow on the way too. I'll have the latest in just a bit.
A new exhibit is focusing on nonviolence and compassion at the International Peace Museum in downtown Dayton. A season for nonviolence opens to the public next week. It's dedicated to the lives and legacies of Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now, their family members were here in Dayton to help launch the exhibit.
All the great legacies were all about embracing people and being inclusive and compassionate. And so we are working towards bringing those values back and making them important.
If we don't know our history, we'll repeat it. And we don't know our history, we forget about where we come from, what we've been through, and what we can get through if we work together as all nations. What God, King followed Gandhi's teaching here and brought that teaching to America.
Both say the key is to help people see that everyone can make a difference. If you'd like to meet them and see the exhibit early, they're going to be at a special reception tomorrow called In Their Footsteps. Starting next week, that exhibit itself will be open to the public through mid-March. And today, the Leukemia Lymphoma Society kicked off its Student Visionaries of the Year Dayton program. It's a 7-week philanthropic leadership development program for high school kids in the area. Today, they're celebrating students' hard work and officially starting their 7 weeks of donations competition at Dayton Children's Hospital.
It's important because we want to help kids at this hospital and across our area that suffer with leukemia, lymphoma, Hodgkin's, and myeloma, but not only them and their families as well.
Students from this program have a chance to develop professional skills in entrepreneurship, marketing, and project management. Montgomery County honoring 2024's top dog today. 8-year-old Manchu, owned by Elaine and Mark Allison, earned the title of the county's #1 dog today. The #1 license goes to the special dog each year, and Manchu is no stranger. He was also the county's top dog in 2022, and look at that smile. He looks very happy about that honor. The county does this to remind other dog owners to renew their licenses before the end of the month deadline. The dog license fee is just $20 for spayed and neutered dogs and $24 for unaltered dogs. Dog licenses help reunite your furry friend in case they get lost. You can buy yours online at mcohio.org/dogs or by mailing an application or in person at 15 locations. All this information is online on the county's website. It is that time of year, pothole season. We're all very familiar with it. A time where crews work to repair them. After the break, ODOT explains what it's doing to patch them up. And the International Justice Court says Israel must prevent genocide in the Gaza Strip. Details about the court's ruling and reactions next.
Plus, I'm tracking rain and some snow for our weekend. I'll time it all out for you. That's coming up. Here's a live look from our Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
It's officially pothole season in Ohio. In fact, I-75 South was shut down for several hours this morning. That's that video you're looking at, as crews repaired some dangerous potholes on our highway. Jeremiah Wilcox spoke to ODOT on how they're working to patch them up.
Matt McGuire with ODOT says when they fill a hole, it's only a temporary fix until they can repave in warmer weather.
We have a special type of asphalt product that has that basically allows it to stay workable in cold temperatures, so it never completely sets. And we use that cold mix to fill the potholes when they open up, and that's deliberately done as a temporary repair to get the roads safe and passable through the winter season until we can make more substantial repairs. This is very routine for our maintenance crews. This is something we deal with every season. Conditions are right now, so more potholes may be opening up.
If you do hit a pothole and think your vehicle is damaged, SuCheck says take it in for repair ASAP. The longer you wait, the bigger the problem. As crews continue to patch those holes, they urge you to give them space so they can make your ride a lot smoother. Jeremiah Wilcox.
A live look right now from Troy, from our Troy traffic camera. You can see it's a little, I guess, wet still out there. Natalie, are we seeing rain at this point?
It's really just a mist out there at this time. We have some fog that will begin to develop as well, and then just a lot of moisture in place across the region is what we have going on tonight, which will help some fog develop, and then eventually we got some more rain on the way, but mainly just clouds out there currently. Bigger picture here to our southwest is our next weather maker, bringing rain to Arkansas right now. That'll make its way in tomorrow. So 30s to start us off with those clouds. By tomorrow afternoon, this is about 4 p.m. Showers developing. We'll continue with the rain during our Saturday evening, so plan on soggy Saturday evening if you have any plans. But when temperatures fall, a transition to snow possible for our early Sunday. Could see some very minor snowfall accumulations out of this. I'll take a look at what we could potentially see coming up in just a bit.
The International Court of Justice says Israel must take measures to prevent genocide in the Gaza Strip. This after South Africa brought a case to the court. Now, the country wants the court to order a ceasefire in Gaza, but the ICJ stopped short of doing so. Israel is now asking the court to throw out the case.
The court concludes that, prima facie, it has jurisdiction pursuant to Article 9 of the Convention to entertain the case. Given this conclusion, the court considers that it cannot accede to Israel's request that the case be removed from the general list.
The ICJ also ruled Israel must allow Gaza access to humanitarian aid and to submit a report within 1 month on what it's doing to comply with the court's order. Now, South Africa is applauding the International Court for its decision today, even though the country was hoping to the top court would order a ceasefire. South Africa's president saying the court's ruling is a decisive victory for international rule of law, but the country's prime minister says it's not a total victory.
The ICJ, as the principal judicial organ of the United Nations, has handed down a ruling that the State of Israel should immediately implement a set of provisional measures to prevent any further acts of genocide in Gaza.
We clearly get a sense that more work is going to be done. The merits of the case are going to be heard, so there'll be a deeper look into the war and how it has been conducted. So I think for us, the victory is that there's recognition that we've made a case.
Now, the prime minister goes on to say he hopes Israel will act in accord with the decision and will take the court seriously.
Well, chilly but calm out here right now at our Watson's Weather Patio. It's going to be a chillier weekend with some rain and some snow on the way too. So how much snow are we talking out of this? Not going to be a whole lot. So I do think our northwestern counties could potentially see up to an inch of snowfall. Keep in mind, this is not until Sunday morning, so things can change. Just a dusting for the Dayton region. If we do get a transition to snow a little bit earlier, we could potentially see some higher totals. So we'll watch for any changes, but I'm not expecting anything too big at this point, just due to temperatures hovering around freezing. In fact, our high temperature upper 30s for our Sunday, and then we get back into the 40s by the middle of next week. But I'll have a look at that 7-day coming up.
GOP frontrunner Donald Trump having to pay millions of dollars in a civil defamation case. What his legal team is saying about that verdict. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now. Former President Donald Trump must now pay more than $83 million to E. Jean Carroll in a civil defamation case. The money is damages Trump owes Carroll for the 2019 defamatory statements about her sexual assault claims. Trump insists he was falsely accused and that he'll appeal the ruling. Trump still calls this a witch hunt, and his legal team maintains this is a political attack against the GOP frontrunner.
We will immediately appeal. We will set aside that ridiculous jury. And I just want to remind you all of one thing. I will continue with President Trump to fight for everybody's First Amendment right to speak. Everybody's a right to defend themselves when they are wrongfully accused and to be able to say, I didn't do it.
Last May, a jury found Trump liable for sexual abuse and ordered him to pay $5 million. Well, the three white men who killed Ahmaud Arbery will be in court in March to appeal their federal hate crime convictions. The men chased down Arbery and shot him while he was jogging in February of 2020. Travis McMichael, his father Gregory McMichael, and their neighbor Roddy Bryan were found guilty of murder in state court. Then they were found guilty of a hate crime in federal court. The older McMichael and Bryan are arguing the government did not prove they chased Arbery because of his race. Travis McMichael's appeal focuses on technical matters to do with his convictions on attempted kidnapping and weapons charges.
Dayton men's basketball eager to keep their win streak going tomorrow, but who they'll face Saturday, they have motives of their own to win. A quick look at the Flyers and Richmond coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Good evening, I'm Matt Digby with a look at sports. 13 straight wins for Dayton men's basketball. They pulled away early in Tuesday's victory at LaSalle. So the quest for a 14th straight win, though, it will also be on the road. Anthony Grant's team visiting Richmond in a meeting of the last two teams unbeaten in Atlantic 10 play. Dayton 6-0 in the conference. The Spiders also 6-0 and on a 9-game win streak overall. The Flyers won comfortably over Richmond in their only matchup last season. This year, though, the two squads are 1-2 in the A-10 in defense, both keeping opponents under 65 points a game. Dayton men will be back home next week for games against George Washington on Tuesday and St. Bonaventure on Friday. Also on the road this weekend is Wright State men's basketball. The Raiders at IUPUI Sunday at noon, going for a season sweep of the Jaguars. Scott Nagy's team has won its last two, pulling away in the second half Saturday to beat Milwaukee. Then they outlasted Cleveland State in overtime on Thursday night. Right now, the Raiders are 5th in the Horizon League standings. That would mean a first-round bye for the conference tournament in March if they could stay in the top 5. Wright State women were playing tonight at Milwaukee, but the Raiders coming up short in overtime. This despite 34 points from Centerville native Alexis Hutchison. The Raider women have alternated wins and losses the last 6 games now. They stay in Wisconsin Sunday at Green Bay before hosting Oakland on Wednesday and Detroit Mercy